Once in a bustling town, a charming and reckless gambler named Lorenzo found himself pursued by a group of armed men. He had recently bested Gino, a dangerous man who couldn't accept his defeat. Furious at the loss, Gino vowed to hunt Lorenzo down and end his life. But Lorenzo, quick on his feet, managed to escape and fled into the wilderness. The following morning, Lorenzo's friends warned him that Gino's men were still searching for him. They urged him to leave town immediately, and without hesitation, Lorenzo mounted his horse and galloped away. Meanwhile, in a grand, sorrow-filled palace, Princess Pia mourned the loss of her parents, who had tragically died from a plague. Isolated and heartbroken, she found herself caught in a political game. Gino, ever scheming, approached her with promises of safety and wealth. He claimed he would look after her, but Pia remained strong and refused his advances. She planned to marry Prince Zinsky, a noble Russian prince, and escape Gino's reach. But Gino, ever manipulative, spun a web of deceit. He told Pia that her father had left behind a massive debt to him, and as a result, all of her family's property now belonged to him. He proposed a solution: marry him and he would forgive the debt. Pia, though, stood her ground and walked away, unaffected by his offer. While Pia dealt with her troubles, Lorenzo was still on the run. As he tried to hide from Gino's men, he found a tree to climb and evade them, but the branch he hung onto snapped, sending him tumbling to the ground. Unconscious, he lay there, vulnerable, until a group of nuns discovered him. They, captivated by his good looks, took him to their church, thinking he was a helpless man who could neither hear nor speak. The nuns, under the mistaken belief that he couldn't hear them, began to shower him with kisses, thinking he was unaware. Just as they continued their antics, Mother Superior entered, demanding to know who the stranger was. The nuns lied, claiming that he was merely a gardener who had lost his ability to speak and hear. Lorenzo, fully aware of what was happening, decided to remain hidden in the church to avoid the relentless search for him. Days passed, and while Lorenzo bathed in the church, two curious nuns snuck in, only to be caught off guard by him. He seduced them, deepening his connection with the nuns. Meanwhile, Princess Pia had devised a plan to hide from Gino's grasp. Disguising herself as a nun, she made her way to the church, hoping to wait until Prince Zinsky arrived and rescue her. But as she entered, she caught sight of Lorenzo, and curiosity got the better of her. She asked the nuns about him, who repeated the lie that he was the deaf and mute gardener. Pia, skeptical but intrigued, decided to watch him from a distance. Her curiosity soon led her to witness a shocking sight: Lorenzo sneaking off with one of the nuns into the bushes. This sight shattered her image of the man, and she realized that there was more to him than met the eye. While Pia dealt with her feelings, Prince Zinsky arrived at the palace, eager to marry the princess. However, he was met with a shocking revelation. Gino had claimed Pia as his own and announced that they were to marry. Furious, Zinsky stormed out of the palace, determined to find Pia. A palace worker discreetly informed him of Pia's whereabouts. She was hiding in a nearby church disguised as a nun. Without hesitation, Zinsky made his way there. At the church, two more nuns approached Lorenzo, asking him to help them with a task they had never experienced before. In good-natured humor, Lorenzo agreed, and soon the nuns led him to Mother Superior's room. As the day passed in the company of the Mother Superior, Pia, watching from afar, became disillusioned with Lorenzo's behavior. The following day, Pia confronted Lorenzo, revealing her feelings for him. As she removed her veil, Lorenzo, eager to know her true identity, tried to lift it, but she stopped him, teasing him instead. She kissed him and slipped away, leaving him longing for more. Later, Pia exposed Lorenzo's lie to Mother Superior, telling her that she overheard him singing, proving that he wasn't deaf or mute. Angered by the deception, Mother Superior expelled Lorenzo from the church, no longer willing to shelter him. Pia, now back at her palace, offered Lorenzo a place to stay, unable to send him away despite her growing feelings for him. Over a quiet dinner, Lorenzo confessed that he had fallen in love with the nun from the church. He described the woman who had captured his heart, though he had never seen her face clearly. Pia, recognizing that she was the woman he spoke of, kept the secret and said nothing. The next day, Gino arrived at Pia's home, furious to find Lorenzo there. In a fit of rage, he demanded that Pia hand over Lorenzo, and when she refused, he attacked. To protect him, Pia reluctantly agreed to marry Gino. In a move of cruelty, Gino had Lorenzo thrown into prison. As the days passed, Pia went to Gino, demanding that he release Lorenzo if she was to marry him. In the face of her demand, Gino agreed, though begrudgingly. Lorenzo was soon released, but as he tried to leave town, Gino's men betrayed him, launching a surprise attack. Lorenzo, with his quick reflexes, fought back and killed the men in self-defense. He was now more determined than ever to return to the town and rescue Pia. Meanwhile, the church was preparing for Pia and Gino's wedding. But before the ceremony could begin, Prince Zinsky arrived and boldly declared that Pia belonged to him. Zinsky attacked Gino and his men, starting a battle that shook the church to its very foundations. As Zinsky and Gino fought, Lorenzo entered and chaos erupted. Gino, in a desperate attempt to flee, chased after Pia, but Zinsky intercepted him, and they fought fiercely. Zinsky ultimately defeated Gino, preparing to strike the final blow. But just as he raised his his sword, Lorenzo stepped in, claiming that Gino was his to kill. The two men fought atop a well, their swords clashing in a final battle. With a powerful strike, Lorenzo forced Gino into the well, sending him to his death. With Gino defeated, Zinski turned to Pia and offered to marry her. However, Pia shocked everyone by refusing. She removed her veil, revealing that she was not the woman Zinski had fallen for. Melissa, the nun he had admired in the church, entered the scene, and Zinski's face lit up with joy. He declared his love for Melissa, and the two embraced. Meanwhile, Pia, searching for Lorenzo, found him walking away. She ran after him and, in a moment of honesty, confessed her love for him. But Lorenzo, ever conflicted, gently rejected her, revealing that his heart belonged to the nun who had kissed him in the church. Pia, heartbroken, asked him to close his eyes and kissed him one final time. In that moment, Lorenzo realized that Pia was the woman he had been longing for all along. The two embraced, the chaos of the past fading away as they finally found each other.